The Dolphins can ruin Tua Tagovailoa, and we're going to talk about it coming right up.
According to Adam Schefter and ESPN here, he will be starting for the Miami Dolphins. Tua is officially now the starter.
What's going on, guys? Casey Prentice here, and we are talking Tua Tagovailoa today, and we are going to get right into it, man. The Dolphins are getting ready to start him. I think it is an awful move, and I'm going to explain to you why. Number one, it's the ego. Look, the Dolphins have not won in years. They have not been a great football team in a long, long time. And all of a sudden, when you're starting to win, and they want to throw in the guy that they just drafted because maybe one of the suits wants him to get the glory for being the person who brought back the Dolphins. Maybe they don't want it to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of egos that are going into the professional football world. When you're in the NFL, it is a very corporate-driven league. It is not fan-driven. Suits are the guys who never play. They're just the money guys. And oftentimes, the suits are deciding who are playing and who's not. The Dolphins have won 3 games in a row behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, because if you look at his recent history, the last 2 to 3 years, he'll start out very, very hot, and then he'll cool off. So that is kind of his thing. He'll play very, very well for weeks, and then all of a sudden he'll go cold. He'll have a lot of dry spell. And that's kind of his MO. However, why would you start Tua now? You guys are starting to win. The problem with the ego is you can't get over yourself. You can't get past yourself. And oftentimes we're thinking it's the head coach. Well, the head coach knows how difficult it is to have chemistry. Chemistry is something that you cannot fake. It's something that comes from being around the guys. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick has built a great chemistry with that team. If you try to take a guy who's a rookie, who's coming off an injury, replaced his hip. Come on, man, they replaced his hip, man. Like, this guy is not 100%. That's number one. Anybody that's had a significant injury knows that it takes you 9 to 10, 11 months before your body starts feeling like its normal self, let alone a hip replacement. So I think it's a horrible decision. I think it will affect the chemistry of that team. When you're playing in the NFL, there's 4 to 5, maybe 6 plays that actually decide the game. It's not the long ball. It's not the big plays that you see. It's plays that affect the timing and the rhythm of the game. A perfect example would be Aaron Rodgers last week, Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. Green Bay is playing extremely well. They're up 10-0. They're going down the field to go score again. And all of a sudden, A-Rod throws a pick. And it changes the entire latitude of the game. And the Green Bay Packers never recovered after that. So you can see, even with a veteran quarterback like A-Rod throwing a pick, it can change the course of a football game. And when you have a rookie back there, let me explain to you how it is, because I played the position. When you're playing in an NFL game, you know where your chess pieces are supposed to be. So when you're unsure, you take an extra hitch before you throw the football. And that extra hitch oftentimes can cause you to turn the football over. And so with Tua, it's not that he can't play. He can play. We all know that he's talented. He's smart. He's a great leader. But when you're playing in the NFL, it's not like playing in college. See, when you play college football, the guys know what they're doing, but they don't act as fast. They don't react as fast. A lot of times guys are still kind of, misguided with their eyes. So they play a step slower. In the NFL, guys know where to go and they get there in a hurry. So when the DB plants and drives, he doesn't plant and drives and see what's going on. He plants and drives in a hurry. So that's the major difference. And when you got a quarterback that is young, that doesn't have the chemistry that Fitzpatrick has, because it's not about who can play better or who can throw better. It's about chemistry. And when you upset the chemistry of a locker room, that's when you start losing. And that's the reason why it's a big question mark on why you would play Tua right now. You can really screw this season up throwing a rookie back there that's just not quite acclimated. It just doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? And I'm going to give Brian Flores the benefit of the doubt because he played at Boston College. He played for 2 years. He knows what it is to have chemistry. And when you start throwing guys in that's just not as prepared to play, you could upset the chemistry. And those 4 to 6 plays can start going the opposite direction. And that is what will lose you ball games. Okay, let's get back to the ego because I think it's very important that I break down to you kind of what the NFL is so you can really get a grasp of exactly how it's run. Most people believe that in the NFL, the best guy plays, the best athlete is on the field. And oftentimes that's just not the case. You will get guys this is a perfect example with Tua. He's a 5th overall draft pick. He played at Alabama. He's got a huge fan base that follows him. He's got, a lot of momentum because he played on the national championship team and the Miami Dolphins. Upper management, they believe that he can bring that same type of energy to their ball club, and rightfully so. However, when your ego is just too big, like you can upset all of the hard work that these players are putting in by inserting someone into the game that doesn't necessarily need to be there. When you're talking about a quarterback change, that is a difference in mentality. When you have a leader that's leading your team, oftentimes your team takes on the mentality of that player. So you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick who's been balling, man. Dude's been balling. He has a certain mentality about the way he plays the game. Now you insert the new guy, who, by the way, is coming off a hip injury that he had to replace his whole hip, man. Like, come on, that just doesn't make any sense to me. But I digress. Let me get back to it. If his energy is off in the slightest, now you're taking the team in a new direction and path in leadership. And that may not necessarily fit right now with the way the team is going. So those 5 to 6 plays that I'm telling you guys that determines a football game can be amplified when you've got the new guy in there. So it just is awful timing by the Miami Dolphins. This is the reason why this team has been losing, because they just make crazy, irrational decisions. It makes no sense to put Tua in the game right now. You're putting all this pressure on this kid to continue the momentum. Now, the upper management in a football organization like this corporate machine called the NFL really drives who comes and who goes and who is on the field. Anybody who has ever had a corporate job understands that oftentimes it isn't the most qualified person who gets the job. Oftentimes, it's the homeboy or the homegirl of the person that's in charge who's recommending the person below. And it's the same way in the NFL. Anybody that was in the NFL, asked them, are the best 22 playing? Are the best 22 playing? They'll be like, nah, it's guys that were better that are just on practice squad, or that they cut because, this guy's a fan favorite, or that we signed him to a long-term deal. He may not be better than the incoming guy, but the reality is it's very, very corporate. Who sell jerseys? There's a lot of things that go into playing in the NFL than just the guy that's playing. And it's very, very unfortunate that it's that way, because you would think the best guys are playing. But the problem is that you're playing the Rams next game. You got to deal with Aaron Donald, and you got to deal with Jalen Ramsey, 2 of the best in the league. Like, how would you insert him into a position where the pass rush is going to be non-stop and your guys can't handle him? That's a fact. It's going to happen, and you'll see. And he's not going to play very well. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm totally against it. Aaron Rodgers, it took him 3 entire seasons before he played in the NFL. Like, they didn't rush him. And because of it, he is very prepared, and he's played a long, long time, and he can handle all of the situations because he's seen it. What you guys think, man? I gave you my argument. I think that they are making the worst decision ever by putting this young man into this game. he's just not prepared for. So I just don't believe that it's the right time to make this move, especially when your journeyman starter has been balling. It just doesn't make sense, man. What you guys think? Comment below. Like, share this video, give it a thumbs up, man. Share it with all your boys, share it with all your homegirls, and let's have this conversation. What you think, man? Comment, subscribe, and holler at your boy. I'll talk to y'all later.
37 sacks on the year, 15 against BC. Here they come again. Printers gets outside, downfield, jump ball. And he's got it again. And you can see there's one outside, 5, 6, and they're coming. And here comes the blitz. Casey Printers avoids that pressure by bouncing to the outside and has trust in G-Roy Simon in any one-on-one situation. He's going to take those odds and throw it to 81.